Just at the shop by Nyanzanketsu, Chapter 12, Daddy's Home. Happy Father's Day! Huh? Wait. Where did this come from? Daddy's home. Naruto, Dad, was still helping her. Why? Why on Remnant was he still helping her? Blake couldn't comprehend it, much less bring herself to understand. Was it of kindness, kinship, some mad, misguided desire to see Team Ruby and his four daughters reunited, or some darker desire she didn't understand, and she didn't know? Blake hated not knowing. Curiosity gnawed at her like a dog with an old bone. Yang would have called it a pun, and she couldn't be sure. After all, she barely knew the man. On some subconscious level, she knew Naruto was her father, her blood, her parent, but even so, she barely knew him. Hell, he'd barely known her until recently, a perfect stranger to her only a few short days ago. And yet, he'd helped her. Toshwick had been ripping her and Son apart, right until Dad stepped in. When pressed as to why, he shrugged. "You're my daughter." He chortled softly as though that explained everything. Perhaps it did. "I'd do anything for family." She'd seen the fight on the docks, if you could call it that. Slaughter, more like. Roman never stood a chance. He'd lost an eye and his dignity besides. When all was said and done, Team Ruby was reunited and no charges were presented against her. Blake suspected her father's hand was there as well. She hadn't been expelled either, or even suspended. Her sole punishment was a weekend detention with Miss Goodwitch. Clearly her old man had some kind of pull with Beacon. That, or Headmaster Osmond feared him. She wouldn't put it past him. That was scary. Speaking of dads, wasn't today's Father's Day? A warm hand rubbed the back of her head, gently massaging her ears. It felt nice, so nice in fact that Blake found herself leaning into it with a pleased sigh. "Lost in your head again, are we?" Blake blinked, drawn from the dark mire of her thoughts. She looked up from her book to find the man in question standing over her, a blonde brow quirked in mild amusement. "I'm sorry." She stood hurriedly, brushing down her apron. "I took a little longer on my break than I should have. Where are the customers?" "Nah." He waved her down, considering the empty aisles. "Been a slow day. Might close up a little early." Blake followed his gaze, considering. Sparks and explosions had seen something of a business boom these last few weeks. Both with Toshwick arrested, although his partner had still eluded justice, and the vital festival fast approaching, folks finally felt safe enough to shop again. At the end of the day, everyone needed dust, and Father's prices were as reasonable as they were affordable. She herself had enough dust to last the rest of the year, as did Ruby and Yang. Weiss was still holding out. She said some issues there, but she'd doubtlessly break down and swing by the restock sooner or later. Definitely later, she decided, recalling an earlier argument between the two. Weiss had held out against hope, but Willow's DNA test had sealed her fate. The words that followed even more so. "I am your father, Weiss." "No, that's not true. It's impossible." "Search your feelings. You know it to be true." "No!" Yeah, Little Miss Drama Queen was definitely going to blow a gasket sooner or later. Blake just hoped it wouldn't be when she and Ruby weren't volunteering. Wait, didn't it count as volunteer work if they were being paid? Yang would probably be here too if she hadn't been nailed with another detention via Miss Goodwitch. "Oi!" Kurama yawned, sprawled in his small form atop the counter. "The cat's breeding again." Blake glared golden daggers right back at the tiny kitsune. "I am not." He grunted her a toothy grin. "And they call me a liar." Yeah, I think that'll do for today." She looked up to find Naruto, Dad, and turned the sign on the door from open to closed. The waning light of the setting sun shone through the window, caught in his hair, and seemed to steady the flame as he turned to face her. A wry grin tugged at whiskered cheeks, and the one feature the two of them shared. She felt her heart skip a little beat. "Well, since we've got the time, care for a little early training? We'll have to ask Ruby, but..." Summer's daughter rocketed down from the second floor, silver eyes bright, broom in one hand and the other darting behind her back. Me, I call dibs. I just finished cleaning." Blake's keen eyes caught her hiding something in her belt. It looked like a box, a gift of some sort. Well, if it was Father's, and shit, she hadn't gotten him anything. Blake looked away. "I don't know." Your ears are twitching. She reached for her bow to hide them, only to remember it wasn't there. She no longer wore it. Damn it, she kept forgetting about that. Ruby darted in for a quick hug and squeezed her tight. Don't hide them," she whispered up at her. "You look better without the bow." Heat spread through Blake's face as her sister released her. There it was, her heart kicking again. Was this what it felt like to have a family? It felt Nice. In short order, he led them to the backyard. It was different than Blake remembered, if only because that obstacle course hadn't been there yesterday. Had he really managed to construct it by himself while she was away? Who was she kidding? Of course he could. The man was a veritable army unto himself. Rubes, I want you to run a few laps over the course. The little Reaper saluted merely. Yes, sir. Blake and me. You were lacking in your fight with Torchwick. His eyes narrowed. It was her only warning. We're gonna fix that right now. Dodge. To her credit, Blake did just that. Father's fist filled her vision with blistering speed, and her semblance flared as she swapped herself out with a well-timed clone. The second strike was even faster, forcing her to launch herself backwards. A third blow came for her while she was in midair. Dark heels aligned on a straightforward kick that would have knocked the absolute living daylights out of her. She actually managed to perch upon her father's outstretched leg for a moment before she kicked off it in again, and she actually felt proud of herself and smirked a little as her feet touched the ground. Right up until Naruto's open palm careened headlong into her unprotected chin. Gabble shroud fell from nerveless fingers. Blake reeled, blinded and stunned. In such a state, she never saw the armored elbow crash into her gut, but she felt, by the brothers, she felt it. Pain. Her eyes bulged as breath burst from her lungs and brought a fair bit of blood with it. Her entire body folded around the blow and her confidence with it. She folded down on her knees, wasted and gasping for air. Trying to breathe only made it worse. Sparks sang before her vision, but she recognized the maneuver. It was the exact same combination Toshrik had used against her, only far more brutal. Roaming couldn't muster anything like this. 2 hits and her aura was down to a fourth. Oh gods, she couldn't move. The pain, and all of a sudden, Dad was there with his healing hands, easing the pain. She felt her breath. She felt her breaths even out as the agony receded. His words did not. Don't get cocky, he chided her gently. Pride's all well and good, but it can be used against you in a fight. Understand? Blake gasped out a breath and let him tug her upright by the wrist. Yes, sir. She'd never felt pain like that before. She never wanted to ever again. Will I be that strong when you unblock my chakra? By the way, his eyes lit up. It was the right thing to ask. Possibly. Now defend yourself. Properly this time. Nothing fancy. His knee blurred in, and rather than risk herself with a reckless dodge, she blocked it with both arms, letting momentum have its way. It certainly did. She hit the ground on one knee and skated backwards. Take the chance to gain distance while she could. Gumball Shroud landed beside her, flung at her feet, and buried itself in the dirt edge first. Her father's jerked his chin towards her. Pick it up, Blake did. And she grinned. That's my girl. And she dove at him, and rather than retreat, he blocked with a forearm. His fist shot in at her face, and by some miracle, she managed to catch his wrist. Aura crackled black against gold. A flash of pride gleamed in father's bright blue eyes. It wasn't enough, not for her. She couldn't tell he wasn't taking this seriously now, that he was holding back for fear of hurting her again. That's not a bad weapon, he chided her as she struggled against him, but it's not enough. You might want to see your way to upgrading it. She gritted her teeth as he forced her back a step. How so? Well, I was thinking you might need a second blade, or maybe... The backyard door crashed open with a harsh bang, stopping him short. Hello! Yang saluted in, grinning from ear to ear, clutching a box under her arm. Happy Father's Day! Blake disengaged with a soft click of her tongue. You always have the worst timing. And why is Kurma sitting on your head? Because I didn't feel like walking. Indeed, the tiny kitsune was indeed perched atop of her teammate's golden locks, her locks head resting upon his paws. That was a miracle in and of itself. Yang didn't let anyone touch her hair. The fact that she'd let an exceeding dangerous bijou like that claim a space for himself up there spoke for itself. She was either in a ridiculous good mood or up to something. Probably the latter, knowing Yang. Father's Day, huh? Not to let go, considering parcels in her arms. That is today, isn't it? And is that what I think it is? Yep, the buxom blonde beamed as she offered one to him. It took me a while to think of something that wasn't dust related. Figured you already had enough of that, so I shopped around and got you this instead. Nat opened the gift with great care, held it out, and let the cloth unfurl. Blake tilted her head. An amber bandana dangled from his grasp, much like the one Yang wore, trimmed with gold at the edge. Someone had stamped the insignia of a crimson fox near the edge, a fact that seemed to please Kurma inordinately, judging by his smirk. Well, someone has good taste. This is very thoughtful, Yang. Naruto accepted it reverently. Help me put it on. Blake had never seen Yang move so fast in all her life. The moment Naruto knelt down, she blitzed him, handedly tying it in a knot behind his neck. Something told her she'd been practicing. There, knew you'd like it. Now we match. Blake hid a smile behind one hand. It was such a Yang gift that she couldn't quite help herself. And this one's from Blake, and said smile withered and died as Yang smirked and offered up the other parcel, a bulky white box enclosed with a little black bow. Ta-da! Excuse me, she's gotten him no such thing. Really? Naruto accepted it with a bemused chuckle. And here I thought she'd given me one herself. Yang shrugged expectantly. What can I say? You know how shy she is. Blake glared her way. You're dead to me. Aw, love you too, sis. Naruto tore off the wrapping paper and opened the gift with swift practice motions. A sudden pang of dread seized Blake. Surely Yang hadn't done something stupid. Right? That's it. She was doomed. Huh. Mr. Wine, father withdrew a long green bottle from the wrapped box and considered it with a keen eye. Good vintage. How did you afford this? Yang waved a hand. She had some help, some fancy lady with dark hair and bright eyes. Blake vaguely recalled someone fitting that description. Cinder. Aha! A triumphant shot confirmed that Ruby had finally completed her little obstacle course. Not a heartbeat later, she sipped over in a flurry of red petals. Wait, we're giving gifts already? Her hands delved into her ammo pouch and came up with a little red box all her own. Here's mine. Naruto narrowly caught the little red box she shoved his way. All right, Ruby. I'll open it in a second. Where's Wise? Here, said Harry, stalked in, brow gone stormy. Her skirt looked a little singed, and she wasn't alone. Yang and I found this brute lurking near the shop. He claims to know you. Yang scratched the back of her head. Right, kind of forgot about him in all the excitement. Sorry about that. That's quite all right. The two of you put up quite the fight. Blake took in the bemused newcomer at a glance. Bright red eyes and bushy brows, a sunny smile to match long golden hair edged with flaming highlights. He wore black with a strange white coat draped over it, shading a long sword at his side. She vaguely recalled the old man mentioning someone named Rengoku with that hair and those eyes. If he wasn't related to Dad, she'd eat her boot. Don't be rude, Wise. Naruto confirmed it a second later. And that's no brute. That's your brother. And he's early. He arched the brow their way. I wasn't expecting him until tomorrow. Did something change after our last scroll call? Pleased to meet you all. The young man beamed back at them, utterly unaware of her racing thoughts. I'm Kyojuro, almost in the same beat. He pivoted on one heel and bowed deeply towards Naruto. My train arrived a day early, sir. I hope I'm not inconveniencing you. Not at all. Naruto waved him down. Say hello to your sisters. Ah, yes. Father spoke of you at length during our calls. The young man bowed so quickly he damn near conjured a breeze. It's an honor to finally meet you. Wise damn near choked on her spit. Brother. Huh. Yang thumbed her chin. I can see it. Blake sighed. Knew it. Ruby reaction eclipsed them all. Wait. I have a big brother. Yang reared back on her heels. Whoa, I know that look. Wise palmed her face with a sigh. Here we go. Blake covered her ears a second too late. Ruby Rose absolutely squealed. I got to tell everyone. Previews? Huh. Like father's like daughter. Cinder stopped by later. Thank you for getting me a gift in Blake's place. That was kind of you. She shrugged one shoulder. I'm flush with cash at the moment. It was no bother. And why exactly do you have so much lien at the moment? She flushed a deep blood red. I have my reasons. Cinder, don't make me spank you. It's decided then. And Kali laid her drink down with a limp smile. Summer mirrored the motion, not looking best pleased. We have an accord then. Willow smiled softly as she caressed the rim of her wine glass. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. With the girls gone back to Beacon for the night, I'll agree on one condition. Riven has no place here. Don't have to tell me twice. Naruto took a long drink from his bottle. Screw breaking her legs. I might just kill her straight up if I ever see her again. I know you hate her, but that's still Yang's mother. Doesn't she deserve a chance to Nope. But at least Yang, nope. He smacked his lips with an audible pop. Summer's right eye began to twitch. She paused, waited, and then, let me finish my sentence. Nope. She flew over the table at him. Merton Astor poked his chest. Fight me. All right, kids, up and at 'em. The four of you against me. Maybe that's a bad idea. You'll lose. Yeah. Oh, ye of little faith. And Pyrrha stared at Cinder. Cinder stared back. It was war. What the hell is he? He was one man. He was a one-man blender. That's what he was. A human meat grinder ripping through the gang. He shot one man dead in the head, crushed the skull of another underfoot, and impaled the third on his fist. All of this without a sound, no reaction, just that same eerie, blank look upon his face. A gunman opened fire only for him to whirl, using his latest victim as a shield against their hail of bullets. Their body bucked and slumped. Somebody tried to reload. That was a mistake. The moment they did, he surged forward. A single leap carried him the rest of the way, and then he was among them. Leaping their makeshift barricade, he threw the corpse at them. Gotcha! A faint beeping reached their ears, and then there was fire. All the smoke, huh? He turned his head aside and spat out a bullet. Blue eyes gleamed red as a wide grin spread across his face. All right, you've got my attention. I hope it's what you wanted. It was not. Oi, what have you done? He grinned. A scorched earth. Ruby hit the Winter in a cloud of crimson petals. New sister! Why stomped the foot. Ruby rose. Unhand my sister this instant. But she's my sister too. Winter quirked about. Who is this small, sassy child? A wise man once told me something. There's a monster inside all of us. It's a simple matter of knowing where to look. Now, time to let the monster out. End of chapter 12.